Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got an exciting video for you. Basically, over the last year I've been working closely with Insta360 and they've sent me their latest camera, which releases today, the Insta360 Ace Pro. It's basically a high-end AI-powered action cam and it's great for lifestyle and vlogging too. And in today's video, I am going to take it out and about, give it a bit of a field test and go through all of the features, and hopefully you guys can get quite excited about the new tech that Insta360 are using and some of the first of their kind features that are going to help us all storytell better, capture moments better, and get more creative in how we make videos. Big thanks to Insta360 for sponsoring today's video and sending the camera out to me early so I can test it out. As you know, it's working with brands like this that allow me to make videos for you guys. So let's jump straight in. Firstly, the sensor is a 1/1.3 inch sensor, the biggest sensor of any action cam on the market. And I think my favorite feature, it's got a 2.4 inch flip screen, which is perfect for vlogging, framing the shot. I think a lot of action cameras now have a little preview screen on the front, but I think this is amazing, just being able to flip the screen around. And even when you're looking from above, you can look down vertically 90 degrees, see the shots framed up. I found this incredibly useful.
I love you.
Yeah, very, very cool. The screen just pops out like this. It's quite a unique feature for a versatile, multi-purpose action camera like this. Yeah, I love it. So Insta360 have told me their whole goal with this camera was to optimize the user experience from capturing, then editing and posting the content. So they've really streamlined it all. A lot of the processes are powered by this AI chip, which is in the camera. And there's a lot of real-time features in the camera, which I'm going to go through, which make it effortless to take the footage that you've shot and cut it in a way which is fun to post. Because often, all of us are guilty of this, is shooting way too much footage and then it just sits around for ages. And unless you're really dedicated to editing, which I am, like pulling tons and tons of footage across and then spending hours editing it and putting music to it and everything like in a conventional editing sense, which most people aren't going to be doing if you're just posting to socials. So they've really streamlined and sped up that whole process, which I'm excited to dive into. The Ace Pro is also co-engineered with Leica, which gives it unbelievable quality. You can shoot at 120 frames a second at 4K, which a lot of the other Insta360 cameras I have, whether it's the X3 or the Go 2, aren't capable of doing. One of the new industry-leading features they have is pure video mode, which enhances low light shooting, denoises, brings clarity, brightness, basically crushes all the competition for these smaller compact action cameras for shooting in low light. And I think for me that's super exciting because it opens up a bunch of new scenarios that you can be shooting with a camera like this. I'm just checking out the pure video mode at night to see what this low light feature is like. Well, we're here under the Eiffel Tower. Pretty phenomenal bit of architecture. Paris is a very beautiful city. Now, something I've noticed over the years is that cameras are getting a lot better at displaying the full dynamic range, closer and closer to what our eyes are capable of viewing. So you're not just going to get a silhouetted shot if there's a bright light behind you. For those of you that understand all the terms, that's HDR, high dynamic range, and the Ace Pro is no exception. Basically, if you're shooting anything up to 4K 30 frames a second, it has a built-in active HDR mode, which means if you're in those conditions where there's an extreme change of light, very bright outside, maybe you're standing in a shadow, you're still going to get that clarity, detail, brightness in the shadows. I've struggled with this before when shooting inside vehicles where it's very bright outside. I'm trying to shoot as I'm driving, and then the whole inside of the vehicle is very dark and it kind of exposes for the outside. But this way, it captures the most amount of light, the highest dynamic range. So again, for me, a very exciting feature. I'm testing the HDR, basically shooting with the sun directly behind me. Technically I should be a silhouette, but maybe it works quite well. HDR mode. One of the technical specs that I saw which blew my mind is that this camera is capable of shooting 48 megapixel photos, which is wild. Again, I think it's down to the size of the sensor, but that really means you can punch into the detail when you're taking photos. So even if you haven't framed the photo right, you can crop right in and still get incredible quality, incredible detail, incredible resolution. Because of the sensor size on the Ace Pro, it can take 48 megapixel photos, which is absolutely wild, but I'm gonna try to see what kind of quality this takes. And talking about resolution, another feature that none of the current competitors compare with is the 2x optical zoom when you're shooting. So if you're shooting at 4K, you double tap the screen, it punches in and gives you 2 times the magnification with no quality loss at all. It's mind-blowing. I think that's one of the things I've struggled with the most when I'm shooting with very wide action cameras. Is they're great for specific scenarios. If you're doing some kind of action sport, if you're trying to capture a wide landscape or like an establishing shot of where you are. If you ever want to punch into any kind of detail, you can't because of how wide the lens is. But this way, 2x optical zoom at 4K. If you upload at 1080, then you can actually crop in again. So you essentially get 4x optical zoom. This is the perfect time to try out the zoom feature. So I've been throwing around the AI buzzword. This next feature uses AI. It's the AI Highlights Assist. And basically what this does is, you can turn it on before you start shooting. Say you're shooting a 5-minute clip and you're shooting various things, you're capturing maybe a bit to camera talking, a few views of what you're experiencing. What it does is searches through, picks the best moments, highlights those within that clip. Then you can go in and tweak and adjust those clips. And then what you can do is, from that one file, export all those individual clips as separate files, or you can compress that file so all of the in-between clips that you're not really using are edited out, resaved, which saves a lot of room on the memory card. I actually had an issue yesterday where I ran out of space, I was shooting, and that's the ideal scenario where then you can be like, well, I've got this 10-minute clip, I don't want to keep all of it, I just want to keep a little section or multiple sections within that clip. This is perfect for that. And it means when you export that one clip, you've got a pre-edited clip. And then when you connect it to the Insta360 app, it gives you a ready-to-share video edited by AI, which again goes back to what I was saying, that the whole vision behind this is to make our lives easier in the process of capturing and sharing our videos. Now, going back to this idea of having multiple highlight clips all stored on one edited file on the camera, they've actually built on that idea and have this new feature called Pause Record, which means instead of when you stop and start recording, you're recording loads of individual clips, which then later on you need to drag in separately and reorder in the timeline and edit it. It basically means you can be recording onto the same clip and you pause and restart again on that same clip. So if you got really good at this, and I'm kind of excited to see if I can make this work, you could essentially, by the end of the day, have your whole vlog recorded and edited into one file before you even export it off the camera, which would be wild. And to add even more to this feature, they've even allowed it that you can scroll across to the album, select any of the pre-recorded clips, and then continue recording onto the back of that clip. So you could continue shooting little sections. Maybe if you wanted one video clip all about the food you were eating one week, maybe one video clip all about some other thing that you were highlighting, you could essentially just be adding onto those clips and end up with one neat file that has all of those clips stored on it. You can essentially collect a timeline of clips all recorded into one clip, so multiple clips but that are joined up. So I'll kind of show you how it works. Okay, so if I start recording, so now if I hit pause, the camera's still on but it's not recording. Now if I want to start recording again, right, it just starts where I left it. And now I go and get a shot of the sea. It's a third clip. Recording again. But like me, a lot of people, the likelihood is you're just going to be shooting like normal. Record, start, record, stop. You're building up a collection of files. And something that can be quite time consuming if you're editing on the app is pulling all of those files into the Insta360 app. And I feel like they've listened to feedback on this. And now what they've allowed you to do is you can select all the files that you need, download them onto your phone, and instead of having to leave the app open, which up until now you have to wait and watch the app and you can't be using your phone, you can't be exiting the app. Now you can download in the background, and on my phone you can kind of see the progress of files that have been downloaded whilst I'm using my phone freely, which is a game changer for me because I've been sitting out before having to offload files onto my phone and literally having to sit there for 20 minutes whilst I dump the whole memory card onto my phone. And yeah, it can be frustrating. So they've definitely addressed that issue. And the claim is that none of their competitors allow for background downloading. You have to keep the app open. So they're definitely leading the way, setting an example, and I hope that others adopt this feature as well. Now, depending on what you're recording, it's often difficult to reach the record button, but Insta360 offer a multitude of other options. So they've got the gesture control option, so you can put your hand up, it starts recording, put your hand up again, stops recording, throw up the peace sign, takes a photo. I've set it to gesture control now if you need to be shooting hands-free. Right, I'm doing the hand gesture to start recording. Little hand gesture to stop recording. Nice. Let's do a photo. Nice. And then alternatively, you could use their new voice control 2.0, which allows for a bunch of different commands: start and stop recording, highlighting a clip, taking a photo, and shutting the camera down. Start recording. So testing out the voice activation, the voice commands. Mark that. We are now heading to a beautiful park out in the countryside called Sheffield Park. We've left it pretty late in the day, but I still think we're going to get a solid hour of sunshine. And yeah, the autumnal colours are going to be popping. I'm interested how good the audio is from the camera. There's no mics plugged into it. This is just the onboard audio, onboard mics. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty good. Stop recording. Now, just because this is relevant, I'm going to quickly go off on a tangent and talk about one of their new accessories, which I'm incredibly excited about. This is the new GPS preview remote. There's either like a mount that you can put on your bike handlebars or attach to something, or it's got the wrist strap. What this does, it gives you a live preview of what your camera's viewing. You can stop and start record from your wrist. So if I've got my camera mounted out of reach, I can literally stop and start recording from the wrist. And this has GPS built in, so it gives you a GPS readout. A few months ago, I did a bike ride across Europe and I imported GPS data from my phone using the Insta360 app onto the camera footage. It kind of records it within the footage and then you can add it as an overlay. I was having a few issues because I was going in and out of GPS service on my phone, and every time I closed the app, it wasn't recording the GPS data. But this solves all of that and it gives you a live preview of what you're viewing. So whenever I'm doing any kind of physical activity, whether I go kayaking again with the cameras, fitness or running, cycling. I'm sure I'm gonna be doing a bunch of activities as I'm trying to get healthier and fitter. This is gonna be like my go-to accessory that I'm gonna bring everywhere when I'm shooting, either with the Ace Pro or the X3, and I'm really excited to overlay and have that data. The Ace Pro also connects with Garmin devices or an Apple Watch to pull in health data, so I could have my GPS readout of where I'm going, speed, and my heart rate, which is going to be really interesting. If I run another marathon or ultra marathon, I would love to display that data accurately in real time on top of the footage. For me, that is super exciting to be able to capture all of that extra data. You can also fully control the Ace Pro through the preview remote. You can change settings, video modes, everything. It's so convenient. And you can power off the camera, just the remote, or both. Now, as you may have seen in my previous Insta360 video, I was reviewing the dive housing for the X3. The Ace Pro is also waterproof down to 10 meters. So probably can't go scuba diving with it unless you've got the dive housing as well. But that's perfect if you're just going snorkeling, you want to shoot some fun family footage in the pool. The new sensor as well captures a lot more accurate colors underwater. I haven't been able to take it snorkeling or anything right now because we're in the middle of winter and I can't really go swimming anywhere. But next time I'm in the sun and go snorkeling, I'm trying this bad boy out. So the Ace Pro comes with the flow state stabilization. Again, incredible stabilization for any camera. I did a little test with my normal vlogging camera running along the beach, and you can see for yourself the stability that the Ace Pro offers. I'm gonna vlog side by side with my normal vlogging camera, but I'm gonna try and run a little bit and you can compare the footage stabilization. Yeah, I don't know how good the flow state stabilization is, but I'm assuming it's pretty good. Woo! Another exciting mode that this camera has is the free frame mode. It basically shoots a much taller ratio image that allows you to crop vertically or horizontally. And if you're in that mode, it also gives you 360 horizon lock, which you can process in the Insta360 app or studio after you've shot. But it completely locks the horizon. So as a lot of the other cameras I have, you can completely spin it around. There's other competitors which offer this if you have specific lens mounts, but this has it built in, which I think is incredible for specific action shots you're doing, or if you need to mount the camera somewhere awkwardly, but you know that you can lock the horizon no matter which way the camera's up. So another amazing feature. This mode is called free frame video mode, and it seems pretty impressive. It seems like I could crop this in a 9:16 vertical ratio or a 16:9 ratio, and it would still allow me to be in shot. I've always thought this was the future, to be able to shoot and extract both ratios, so you don't have to think about shooting different footage for short form and long form. And I think this is definitely a solution to that. What do you think, Callie? And then in terms of battery life, if you're not using the AI highlight assistant, which uses a little bit more battery, if you're shooting 4K 30 frames a second with the active HDR, gives you 100 minutes of battery. And the exciting thing is with the USB charging, you can charge it up to 80% charged in 22 minutes or fully charged in 46 minutes. And then I personally carry around a little battery pack so I can fast charge on the go for a lot of my little techie things. Now, something Insta360 have released with this camera is their new multi-mount. This is a folding selfie stick, but also a tripod. So you can mount the camera on the top and also just set it down on the table if you want to. Set up a static shot, have the tripod pointing at something, do a time lapse, whatever it is, very handy. And then if you're vlogging, you can just switch to a selfie stick mode. The camera has a click-in mounting system. So if you click it in, hear that little click, make sure you hear that click. And then there's an adapter here for a 1/4 inch camera thread. So if you just screw that into the multi-mount selfie stick, and then vlogging mode, I would just flip up that screen. All right. And then to release, just pinch those little clips on the side. Boom. Vlogging with Neo. Should we go for a little walk? Let's do it. Neo just woke up from a 40-minute nap. That's a really good nap. It's nice and warm because although it's sunny, it's very fresh and wintry today. So it's quite nippy. So this foldable selfie stick I've been using to shoot today, it's called a multi-mount. The bottom actually folds out to be a tripod. It's pretty cool. I like it. This multi-mount selfie stick is pretty cool as well because you can get creative angles like this. Inbuilt mic on the Ace Pro is incredible, but Insta360 also offer a mic adapter which you can clip into the USB-C on the side. You can plug in a higher quality mic, maybe a wireless mic, whatever you need, especially in windy conditions. I think that could be handy. There's another feature that's very exciting that's to do with a selfie stick that I haven't got to play with yet because I think it's being released today as the camera is being released on the app, so I didn't have prior access to it. So the issue can be with a selfie stick, if you're pointing the camera back down the selfie stick towards yourself, so I've done this often if I'm like scuba diving or snowboarding and you want a shot of yourself, the selfie stick itself is visibly in the shot. Now, the 360 cameras have always offered this ability to stitch that out because the way the lenses are mounted, the way that they run perpendicular to the selfie stick itself, so it's very easy to stitch that out and it looks like there's a camera floating there in front of you. Now, Insta360 have tackled this issue with the visible selfie stick in a different way for the Ace Pro, is that in-app, once you've captured the footage, you can turn on the invisible selfie stick mode, you can process it and it erases it with AI. Don't know how it does it, but I'm looking forward to trying that out. I think that's very exciting for people that don't want to be necessarily shooting with a 360 camera, also making the most of the higher resolution and higher frame rates that you get with the Ace Pro. Now, the final AI part of this camera, which I found incredibly exciting and creative, and really I just kind of need to show it to you, is that now within the Insta360 app in the Shot Lab, they've added a new feature called AI Warp. It takes a section of a shot that you've filmed and it runs it through an AI filter. They've got their own presets, but you can also do custom prompts. You can type in a word or a phrase and it basically applies that to your video, and frame by frame it edits a section and completely transforms your video into a piece of AI artwork. But like I said, I can't really explain it, I just have to show it to you. So check out some of these shots I made. I think obviously we're in the infancy of using AI generated artwork and animation in our content, but I'm really excited that Insta360 have allowed us to easily access that and play around with it and use it as something to enhance the projects that we're doing. So I cannot wait to see what people come up with, some of the creativity that this unlocks. And I do feel, although this is a controversial topic, that we've got to embrace stuff like this and just steer it in the right direction. And I don't personally feel threatened that this is going to take away jobs from animators and artists. I think it's just going to allow us all to do so much more and think so much bigger in the way that we create. Insta360 have also released the baby brother to the Ace Pro, the Ace, today. It's still powered by AI. It doesn't have all the same features. It's got a smaller sensor at 1/2 inch, doesn't have the fast charging battery. But for those that haven't got the budget to get the Ace Pro, I think the Ace is also an amazing option with a lot of the same features. I've really enjoyed testing out this camera. So if you're in the market for an action cam that can be used for lifestyle and vlogging as well, with the flip screen, all of the features I've shown you today. I'd highly recommend checking it out. I've linked it below. The Ace Pro is selling for $450, the Ace for $380. Like I said, I'll link it below. You can go and check out more of the features. Hopefully this video has helped you learn a bit about this amazing new camera, and I can't wait to play around with this more as I get out there and travel and have more adventures with Raya and Neo. Definitely adding this to my camera bag. Thanks for watching. If you don't already, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.